Good evening, everyone. I'm told I have to stand still a little bit because the camera's pointing near the podium. I want to welcome you to Liberty Chalkboard's forum on Common Core standards and curriculum. Marianne Allegro will be speaking in a minute or two, and she'll tell you a little bit about Liberty Chalkboard, the organization. I want to invite you all. We originally had a string up so that the people that actually did reserve seats were sure to get them. But there's plenty of seating, so if you would like to move up and you don't have a reservation, please feel free to move up. Next item is someone asked me to just invite school committee members. If there are any school committee members in the room, would you mind standing up for just a moment so that you can be acknowledged? And, oh, this is great. I'm going to moderate. My name is Mark Allegro, and let me just give you a preview of the schedule. Marianne Allegro is going to make some opening remarks. She'll introduce Liberty Chalkboard, and she'll talk a little bit about one of her the subjects that interest her most about Common Core standards and curriculum. We have special guests, Jamie Gass and Sandra Stotsky here, who are going to be the feature portion of the program for the night. We'll have a little break in the middle because it's going to be a couple of hours probably, or at least an hour and a half. So we'll take a little 5 minutes to stretch our legs in the middle. And then I'm going to make some closing remarks and see if I can cap it off and also urge people in the ways that they might be able to get involved with looking into Common Core curriculum a little bit further. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce Marianne Allegro, who's going to talk about Liberty Chalkboard, what is the Common Core, and the Common Core and the collection of data about your children and family.
I think this is working. Great. Good evening, everyone. And first of all, thank you all for coming. This is awesome. And thank you to the school committee members for coming and all the teachers that are here also. I want to say that first. On behalf of our team at the Liberty Chalkboard, I want to welcome everyone. I already said thank you for coming. Our team at Liberty Chalkboard is made up of moms and dads, aunts and uncles, grandparents, friends, and neighbors. We come from all walks of life, but we share a passion for our kids and for their education. We sponsor an American history newsletter titled Under the Liberty Tree, and you've probably seen it on the resource table in the back. We distribute it as often as we can afford it. We also have a downloadable version, a PDF version on our website, which you're welcome to download and print as often as you like, and if you think it'll help in your classrooms or whatever, all the better. That would be wonderful. We offer a free family-friendly movie series here at the library, usually held on the first Friday night of the month. And we feature a mixture of educational, historical, and fun films. Our next presentation will be Walt Disney's Johnny Tremain on Friday, July 5th, and we welcome you all to join us. Bring the kids. We'll be serving popcorn, soft drinks, and copies of Under the Liberty Tree. Probably some free constitutions as well. Tonight's topic, however, brings us to a more serious note. The little-known Common Core is a one-size-fits-all set of federal school standards that, by definition, will ultimately lead us into a uniform national curriculum. Therefore, it requires some research from us. We found that it was developed not by the states, but by a small group of unelected persons belonging to Washington, D.C. trade associations, namely the National Governors Association, or the NGA, and the Council of Chief State School Officers, the CCSSO. A third player is an organization called Achieve. This was created by the NGA, National Governors Association, and funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So they're pretty much part of the same group. We found that by necessity, we're going to be losing all school choice in our country. You just have to think about this. You can still homeschool your kids, but you better be teaching to the Common Core. Because the alignment of both the SAT and the ACT tests, the college entrance exams, to the Common Core is already in progress right now. Indeed, a key architect of Common Core, the fellow's name is David Coleman, is now president of College Board. So that's pretty much going to be a done deal. That's why parochial schools also, and all of our private schools, will eventually be forced into this. We found that our state, Massachusetts, lowered its standards to adopt the Common Core. Sight unseen, it had not been written in 2009, so that it could compete for race to the top stimulus money, which are basically our tax dollars, and No Child Left Behind waivers. So as we continued our research, the web grew in size and in complexity. Our two wonderful speakers this evening are going to address many of the details, the specific details about Common Core, but first, I'd like to touch on one very important topic in addition to what our speakers will cover tonight, and that is this. One of the least known, yet most troubling aspects of Common Core is that it is partnered with a massive student data collection and storage program. States adopting the College Core must enter a student tracking program run by the Statewide Longitudinal Database System, or the SLDS, this is their brief, who will, quote, track students by obtaining personally identifiable information. So what does that mean? Well, according to them, personally identifiable information includes your parents' names, your address, your social security number, date of birth, place of birth, mother's maiden name. Also other information that would let a school person who does not know the child identify the child. Now, I'm not sure what that would be. Further, this same brief says that sensitive information will also be extracted. I say ouch to that word. Then they list some of these bits of information they want to collect from your children. Political affiliations or beliefs of the student or parent. Mental and psychological problems of the student or student's family. Sex behavior or attitudes. Illegal, antisocial, self-incriminating, and demeaning behavior. Critical appraisals of other individuals with whom respondents have close family relationships. Legally recognized privileged or analogous relationships, such as those of lawyers, physicians, and ministers. Religious practices and affiliations or belief of the student or the student's parent. And family income. What does this have to do with school? Why do they want this information? Are these things really any of their business at all? Massachusetts was one of the first 9 states to agree to pilot this program. And actually, why not? The Massachusetts Education Reform Act of 1993, Chapter 69, Section 1 states, quote, each student record shall contain a unique and confidential identification number. Do you know your child's identification number? Basic demographic information, program and course information, and such other information as the department shall determine necessary. So I'm guessing that now in 2013 they have determined that other information is necessary, since they're going to be collecting all this kind of personal information, which I don't feel anyone has a right to. Further intrusion into your family's privacy was made possible by changes in the FERPA laws in 2008 and 2011, which now allows third-party and non-educational entities to access your child's data. So they've been collecting this data, or they will be collecting it, and now they can sell it off to somebody else. We have to ask the question, who will actually end up with all this sensitive information? Well, I do have one answer. In Bloom Incorporated, a private organization, also founded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation along with Rupert Murdoch's News Corp, wins this database. They were afforded the permission to collect your child's data starting in October of this school year. So let's fast forward to today. According to the U.S. Department of Education, from pre-kindergarten on, the government will continue collecting and compiling this sensitive information about your child and your family. And why should they stop there? They will also collect machine-monitored emotional and psychometric information. This is the Promoting Grit, Tenacity, and Perseverance Critical Factors for Success in the 21st Century draft. This is actually 126 pages, and we didn't have the money to print them all tonight to even show you. But I have a few pages printed up. I'll put them on the resource table later, and we have them available on the website as PDFs, and you can go to the government website of Department of Education and still download this. These also I'm going to put on the resource table, but I'll ask you not to take these particular things because there are sample copies. Anyway, this was drafted in February of this year, and this is what they're proposing. And I quote, with slight modifications from Diane Rufino. She summarized it a little bit. Students will be extensively questioned while being observed by facial monitoring equipment and by sensors strapped to their bodies. They will be neurophysiologically tested. 4 parallel streams of effective sensors will be employed. The facial expression camera, to detect motion, captures facial expressions while software on the laptop extracts geometric properties on faces. This is called, in this draft, MIT's Mood Meter. There's a picture of it right here. This is from their publication. This stuff is for real, okay? They go on. The posture analysis seat, the pressure mouse, pressure mouse, and wireless skin conductance sensor will collect physiological response data from a biofeedback apparatus that measures blood volume, pulse, galvanic skin response. I'm a scientist and I'm not really sure of these things, to examine student frustration. Okay? My child is not a lab rat, and I doubt any of your children are lab rats either. It goes even further than this. They lament, and this I have posted up in the back, they actually lament that an MRI cannot fit into the classroom and would be too expensive to use to monitor brain function. But wait, we have hope. And I quote, Ed Tierley and Ash Vasudia of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation point out that researchers such as John Gabrielli and Richard Davidson are beginning to use multiple methods to explore how specific brain activity is correlated with other cognitive and affective indicators that are practical to measure in the school settings. I don't know about you, but I know that makes me feel a lot better. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. In truth, coming back to the what maybe is actually the fake world, I don't know, that's the real world. Your children and your family, the data collection on your children and family has actually been ongoing and perhaps without your knowledge or consent. In Massachusetts, children are asked many personal questions during NAEP assessments, and we have the sample questions for the 4th graders. You can look at them in the back. They're things I don't think schools really have a right to know, and certainly not third parties have a right to know. And also, even in local school assignments nowadays, and this from a very local school assignment, a 4th grader, this is an Earth Day assignment. Who is sending mail to your family? Look at the mail that your family receives this week. Write the names of 10 different people or companies that sent mail to your mom and dad. Okay. I just don't understand this. This is from a child's classroom that was seen by one of the parents of that child. So here's what I say to all this. When I graduated from high school, my mom had 12 of these to put in a hope chest or for my dad to put in the fireplace, depending on the year. That's the amount of data that they had on me at my school when I graduated. When your kids graduate from high school, you can expect about this much data to be collected. Excuse me, I'll pick that up later. And that's just on the student. You can probably expect at least this much more to be collected on the teachers, because this is also for the camera. Here we go. This is also going to be a data collection project for the teachers as well. It isn't just for the students. So they can monitor the teachers and decide who they will keep and who they won't. The reason for all of this is a good question. Well, the developers say it'll help students learn and allow them to be directed into areas where they will more easily succeed. And I ask, do you want your child's career path chosen by how he answers personal questions in the 4th grade, or by his facial expressions while taking a science exam? Are you really comfortable with that? I'm a scientist. I'm a professional scientist at the MBL. If they determined my fate when I was taking a science exam, going through school, I would not be a professional scientist at the MBL. I hate to tell you what I would be doing. I hated school. So there you have it. You can't judge these things ahead of time. Okay, lastly, as people are realizing that these aspects of Common Core exist and are beginning to ask questions, a more troubling pattern is emerging locally and across the country. Some parents and teachers who have approached their schools with questions about the Common Core are being shut down. Why aren't parents allowed to see these details? Why haven't we heard about this until now? This has been in the works for a couple of years, and frankly, on a national level, this has been in the works a lot longer, but let's just go specifically with Common Core here. What are some teachers finding out that they don't like? Are teachers' jobs at risk, and is that why people are getting shut down? Are the developers of the program trying to hide something? And I really think that's what we need to find out. We urge you all to go to our website, libertychalkboard.org, and visit our school feed page to start your research. The school feed page, we have a wonderful person running it. It is full of articles from Massachusetts and from around the country. Every aspect of this web is covered, and from all angles. But please don't take our word for it. Continue to research on your own, go to their websites, listen to their talks, read their transcripts so that you can draw your own conclusion as to the reasoning behind all of this. I promise you, you will not be bored. You cannot possibly make this stuff up. And on that cheery note, it's time for the main event, and I thank you all for your kind attention.
We have time for a couple of questions, if anybody wants to ask now.
I want you to ask Mary Ann
Let me give you the...